Order at 1:31 p.m. The record show that the directors present are Ms. Miller, Mr. Dannins, Dr. Barksdale, Mr. Sahanowitz, and Councilwoman Gonzalez. So we do have a quorum. All right. Did we have anyone signed up for public comments?
No, sir, not.
We did not. All right. I'll give the members a moment to review the minutes from last session, and this goes with those. All right, Mr. Sahanowitz has moved to acceptance. He has a motion second by Dr. Barksdale. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes have passed. All right, let's talk some money.
Yes, sir. First off, I'd like to thank the ad hoc committee for meeting with us and the executive team last week to go over our draft of the budget. Just a high level overview. We can answer any questions, but this year our budget that we're asking for the board that is $30,875,940, which represents a 3.81% increase over last year. The highlight, we've given the board some highlights, talking points. The main things that we'd like to point out is that this budget is asking for two specific positions. One is an assistant chief appraiser position for our succession planning. And the second is a communications assistant, which has been long overdue in our office. Aside from that, it's just standard costs. I'm happy to answer any questions. We're happy to answer any questions. But again, at the very end of the highlights, you can see that this is the 5th year that we're trending downward as far as our budget. We're very cognizant of the fact of other budgets from other taxing jurisdictions. So we took a hard approach as far as what we came before the board. And we're happy to answer any questions.
All right, do the board members have any questions for the staff? No, I don't. I'm great. There are a few things I'd like to point out.
Absolutely.
You'll turn to page 4. You will note that under this proposed budget, our cost per parcel for appraisals remains at the lowest of the large metropolitan districts in the state. If you will go to page 5, you will see the percentage increases over the last several years. Actually, my very first meeting here was in 2023, and I walked into a proposed increase of 16.46%. That was a lot of fun. But it's gotten substantially better. And I will point out that at 3.81%, we are essentially looking at a budget that is exactly at the rate of inflation. So that shows me that we have a lot of discipline and strategic approach to the budget. And I think this is very noteworthy, and staff deserves some recognition for that.
Thank you very much.
Job well done.
Thank you, sir.
Now if you could just train the city.
So, before we take the vote, let the record show that
At this time, sir, we're just asking the board for permission to send this to the taxing jurisdiction.
Oh,
We'll do
that's
the
right.
final approval in September.
Let the record show that Mr. Fisher and Ms. Heisel, they had.
Yes.
So at this point, we just prepared, this is the document that we intend to send to you.
That is correct, sir.
For approval.
That's correct. We will hold a public hearing and pass the final budget before September 15th.
And is my recollection correct that with the last legislature, now the process is that if you don't get any responses, considered to be a yes?
I'm mistaken, that is for acquiring a building. I think it is the same process for the budget passing
Okay, so
is
that's
in place.
So that didn't extend to this.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And you guys have already sent this to the taxing entities?
Not yet, ma'am.
Okay.
We will
I
have to.
missed that. And then on the assistant chief appraiser. One assistant chief appraiser, that's a new position.
Yes, ma'am. We are anticipating
That's gonna be my that's gonna be my replacement. I am on my way out.
Oh.
We're-
It's not new, it's like.
Not right this
Not
second.
this right this second.
But
I didn't want to get him riled up. He loves to talk about retirement.
Let's not jump to conclusions.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm hoping that the board can help convince Mr. Griscom that he is still a valuable asset to us. But with each passing day, his smile grows and grows. So,
So this is for succession planning
Yes, sir.
purposes, so the replacement will have been on board.
Yes, ma'am.
Familiar with our policy.
just getting ready.
It'll give them an opportunity to work with me for a while to make sure that by the time I ride off into the sunset, there will be no ripples at all.
Okay.
Won't even notice that I'm not here.
But all kidding aside. Yes, he will. We will.
My dad got.
We'll still get it for you. But I'm telling you, all kidding aside, Mr. Griscom has brought just the wealth of knowledge, expertise, steadiness to our organization. And I am sincerely dreading the day that he hangs it up.
It'll be a little while. Not ready to work out yet.
All right, then you may proceed.
So.
Item E, the board of directors.
Oh,
We need a vote.
We need a- I'm sorry. Yeah, we do need a vote.
Okay,
for
so I
this.
need that to go to approve.
I always need a vote.
I motion,
Okay, we have a
Okay,
motion
so-
to approve from.
Yeah,
Fuller,
I have
second-
I have a motion to approve the preliminary 2027 operating budget
Thank you.
and submitted to the taxing net.
submitted to
We
the
have a
tax.
second by Mr. Sahanowitz. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Um, Item E is the board of directors may discuss and or vote to establish the next steps in the process to fill a vacancy on the board of directors. Before we get to that, why don't you give us an update on where we are in the current process?
Right now, Ms. Pichardo, correct me if I'm wrong, we've received 5 total applicants. We still have 3 weeks left. The deadline is May 29th. So I wanted to put an action item here so that collectively the board could discuss what the next steps are to establish once the deadline passes, because we will not meet again until after the deadline.
So my recollection is that we established a ad hoc process. We created the application period.
Mhm.
We built in a week for you all to do the vetting to make sure the people who have applied are actually qualified
Correct.
for the position. And then we were going to do interviews after that.
So I had a question as far as when will those interviews be scheduled, just so that we can have them on the calendar?
Right, so that's the next step.
The next step,
Yes.
and then
So-
how is that gonna look? Is that gonna be the whole board? Is it gonna be
Right.
an ad hoc thing?
So under our
Do we like open it up to people to see, since that's the elected position? You know, do we post it 3 days notice that we're gonna be interviewing? And they can come in and look, or how are we gonna do it?
So the calendar timeline is that the first week of June would be the vetting period. We will have a board meeting on the second Tuesday in June.
The second Monday, sir.
I'm sorry, the second Monday in June. So I guess the question here is, do we want to go ahead and schedule something for immediately after or soon after the next board meeting?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to make the board meeting
Okay.
in June, because I've got family issue.
Okay,
So I just wanted to get a calendar, so I had.
And that's why I think, collectively, whatever the board decides, that way we can have that step down.
why don't we do this? Why don't we, each of the board members submit to, our liaison our availability the second and third weeks in June.
Second and third week.
Second and third weeks in
I have a
June.
clarifying question, Mr. Gannon. Why are we not vetting them as they come in instead of waiting till the end?
As far as the vetting process, Ms. Pichardo is going and checking to make sure that there are no delinquent taxes on any properties that have, that they own. So we are doing that step. As far as the other qualifications, it's really hard to know at this time. That would probably be something that would need to be addressed during the
I see.
interview process.
Okay,
But we are taking the initial steps. Yes, ma'am.
okay. So we don't really need a week to vet them, is my question.
Probably not. Now, I will tell you all, I'm out the entire first week. in
Well,
June,
and I
so-
don't wanna put any pressure on her if she gets a bunch of them on the last day,
Yeah.
because then she, so. That answers my question.
That's true. We could have
Yeah,
some
so
select.
I take back my thought.
So I think what we could do is everybody submit to the liaison their availability the second, third week of June. And then what we will have those available for the next board meeting. I'll communicate with you directly, Ms. Heisel, since you won't make that meeting. And then we can, doesn't require a vote to schedule interview process. It does require a vote to actually appoint some. And so we can, within the constraints of how we operate, set up a date for the interviews. And then on that time, we can, after they're done, we can have a meeting to talk over our various viewpoints and then schedule a special meeting. Well,
So getting back to Ms. Heisel's question, is it gonna be an ad hoc committee or is it gonna be a full board who interviews? Because if it's the full board, we have to post it.
post it.
So is that what we decided on?
We haven't decided.
We have
yet,
not
so
decided.
the last time we did this, we sort of set up the general outline of the
Right.
process. We didn't really debate each, so my personal opinion is that it's just at the will of the board. I have no problems scheduling a full board meeting to have public interviews. I have no problems having less than a quorum do individual interviews, and then we can communicate people's responses to that to the full board before we move.
I like the latter. I don't know how you feel.
The public meeting,
No, the latter was to do an ad hoc. And then.
I just feel like it's more transparent to do it publicly and everybody's involved.
So I will say, when I did research this, and Councilman, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the way city council does it is they do it in public at a scheduled time. Right. So that is an option,
The city
Okay,
does
that's
that.
fine.
so.
So I guess if we'll figure it out when that day is.
Right, so if we're looking at the second and third week in June, then we can schedule the meeting and do the interviews, and then by then we're running up against the July meeting. And so given the way this timeline is looking out, I think what we'll do is put a motion or a agenda item for the July meetings to fill the vacancies.
And get them sworn in and everything.
Get those morning, we'll bring it.
If it would, if it,
Sounds good to me. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Whatever question we ask, right, that one appointee, we have to ask all of them. I would just ask that folks do that,
Yeah.
so. There's a structure, some rules around what the interview process is. That's helpful.
Okay. So let's get back to the ad hoc committee. I had asked this to be put on the agenda for two reasons. One is that we could have a group that could do the structuring along those lines of how we actually want the interviews to go. The other is that I think, and I've mentioned this previously, I think we need to have a board policy that could be operative moving forward, that in cases of an unexpected vacancy, but for whatever reason, we have, having gone through this and learned from it, we can bring forward to the board at a later date an actual policy that will govern the timelines and the requirements moving forward.
Can we convene that after the new member is in place?
Yes, we won't start that process till after we're back to a full forum. But you can go ahead and establish the ad hoc committee now, and their first task can be developing the details for the interview process.
I would like to be part of that.
I'll probably do.
And I would like to be on too, unless either. So the motion would be that we establish an ad hoc committee for the purposes of A, establishing the mechanisms that will be used in the immediate future to fill the existing vacancy, and B, bring to the board at a future time a policy proposal that will enable us to set a formal policy on how future vacancies will change. So I will go ahead and establish that as a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Right. All right, now, one of our most exciting presentations of the year, we have our audit report.
Yes, I have Nicholas Gutierrez here from ABIP representing our audit. It's under tab F. There are printed slides and there's also a bound copy of the completed effort for you.
Good afternoon. You guys are all well. I also have here with me our engagement partner, Janet Pittman. I was the manager on the job kind of out here day-to-day, and Jen helped extensively help get through the audit, and you know, it's a big booklet. It's a lot of work that goes into it. A lot of it is Crystal's work, and so kind of give you a brief overview what's within this we call it the ACPR. It's going to be your annual comprehensive financial report. At the very beginning, it's the introduction. It's going to be your transmittal letter from the chief appraiser and the finance director. Also at the very end of this transmittal letter is the giveaway certificate. It's your certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting. This is the district's 21st year getting this award. It's a very prestigious award. The award's old enough to drink now, I guess. It's got that 21 year mark. But it really means that this award is for the prior year. And so we're hoping to continue on that track for the 2025 ACPR, and it's a very distinguished award to get. It's a lot more work that goes into it. Kind of why your report's very thick. But also within the ACPR is the independent auditor's report. It's kind of the only thing in this report that belongs to us. I'll kind of get into that. What makes that up? The management discussion and analysis, and your cliff notes of the financial statements, how the district did for the year. The actual numbers, those are going to be your government-wide and fund financial statements. Those are going to be the actual true numbers of the district. And then the notes of the financial statements. Sometimes the notes help to explain what those numbers entail, where they come from, why they need to be reported, why they need to be required in the financial statements. Your required supplementary information, that's going to be your budget to actual, your required TCDRS schedules, your other supplementary information, and then your statistic tables. The statistic tables is part of that ACPR and GFOA reporting. So it has about 10 years worth of stats for the district. It's a neat read, to see kind of how much the district has grown over the years. So that's also going to be in the back of your ACPR. Moving on to the independent auditor's report. Like I said, this is the only thing that belongs to us within this report. This tells you the audit standards we're required to follow. Generally accepted auditing standards give you our purpose as to why we need an audit, why the audit is being performed, to form an opinion on whether the financial statements are presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. And it has our audit opinion. Now, our audit opinion is unmodified. It's the best opinion you can get. I have a letter out to try to maybe change some of that wording. I don't think they're going to change it, but I wish they would. It means you passed. It's clean. It's a clean audit. It means we didn't modify anything within the financial statements. It means that they are stated and presented in accordance with GAAP. Moving on to the management discussion analysis. Like I said, this is kind of going to be your clip notes for a lot of your readers, your financial highlights, the overview of those financial statements, your government-wide financial analysis, the financial analysis of the general fund, your budgetary highlights, and then capital assets and debt. This is also a good place to point the readers to, if they have any questions with management, that's at the back of the management discussion analysis, it has their contact information, so you know where to reach them should they have any questions about what's in these financial statements. Getting into some of the numbers, some of the financial highlights, the government-wide financial statements, the assets of the district did exceed its liabilities, which is what we call net position, by 13.7 million at December 31st, 2025. Of that 13.7, about 10.5 is considered unrestricted. That net position did increase 3.3 million from the 2024 year end. This is primarily due to an increase in your taxing entity revenues. Year over year, I'll kind of get into a little bit of how your revenues and your expenditures go up pretty hand in hand. But a lot of this net position increase is due to that increase in the revenues of tax entities, which you guys are covering kind of in your preliminary budget here. Anyways, going on to the next page. The general fund highlights. This is kind of more the level that management manages on the day-to-day, where they manage the budget. The fund balance did have a fund balance of 10.3 million as of December 31st, 2025. This was an increase of 1.4 billion from 2024. You have an unassigned fund balance of 4 million. It's approximately 22 months, or about 1.8 years. So a very healthy unassigned fund balance. You do have an assigned fund balance, which is a lot of your legal reserve, your building, your coal retention. of 6.3 million. Embedded in that 6.3 million is going to be your surplus amount to be returned to the taxing units of 1,258,939. That's a great amount to kind of give back to those taxing entities and also kind of bring up some of your fund balance along the ways. Getting into a little bit more of the income statement, your revenues for the year were 27.8 million. That's about a $2.3 million increase over 2024. The bulk of that increase was from your allocation from your entities. That was an increase of about 2.2 million. There was a slight increase in your investment income, but again, that 2.2 million really made the bulk of your revenue increase. The expenditures for the year were 26.3 million, about a $2 million increase over 2024. Largest increase were salaries. Salaries increase about 574,000, and legal services increase of 349,000. That's just with the growing district. You know, as you continue to grow, those expenses continue to grow as well. Is there any questions about the financial statements? Anything in there that you kind of would like some further explanation on?
You said something about so many months for the unassigned or assigned balance?
Yes, your unassigned fund balance, that's the portion that is essentially it's not earmarked for anything. There's no kind of non-spendable portion of that. There's no restrictions or commitments on that. That's your kind of your day-to-day, what you use for your operating. It's about 1.8 years, 22 months or about 1.8 years of your prior year expenditures. So it's a very healthy unassigned fund balance.
And that number includes the amount that we're going to return to the entities at the end of the year.
Yes, sir. No. That does not include the amount.
Okay.
That is included in your unassigned fund balance of 6.3. Yeah. So that is even not even taking into account that amount.
Assigned.
Assigned.
Yes.
Yeah. You also have with you today a letter of conduct and audit. This is our management comment letter. You know, if there was any changes to any of your accounting policies, this is where we would let you know. Happy to say that GASB hasn't implemented anything this year, so we got a little break. Going forward, there may be some changes, but we got a year off. Feels like the first year off in a while. No changes to this is where we disclose your accounting estimates and disclosures. No changes there. Most of those are included in your TCDRS valuations and your capital asset determinations. If there was any difficulties in performing the audit, any misstatements or disagreements with management, this is where we'd be required to tell you. Happy to report there were none. Crystal and the finance team, they were very easy to work with. They're great finance team. We did get all of the management representations that we're required to get for these financial statements. If you went out and got a second opinion, any other consultations from any other independent auditors, second opinion on the financial statements or any kind of accounting treatments, this is where we'd be required to let you know. Happy to report that did not occur, and you were in compliance with the Public Funds Investment Act. We do some testing on that to make sure that you are in compliance with that. Happy to report there. 2 thumbs up. If there are no other questions, this is my contact information. And again, admit our audit partner. This is their contact information as well. Feel free to reach out to us should any come up or throughout the year. Crystal reaches out throughout the year, so we appreciate that. Yeah, clean audit, very great finance team. Very easy to work with. Like I said, it's a big booklet, a lot to get through, and we ask for a lot, so we appreciate the ability to serve to you.
Do we have any questions or comments?
Awesome job.
21 years in a row is a significant accomplishment under any circumstances, but that also includes the 2 COVID years and the chaos that ensued after that. So I think it's a remarkable achievement by our staff that they have maintained complete compliance without any kind of reservation over that period of time. Congratulations.
I do have a question on the surplus that's going to be returned to the taxing units. How is that allocated? Is it percentage of?
The percentage of what they contribute to the budget, sir. Yeah, and we'll be sending out those next week.
Yes, so everybody gets the same percentage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
No, everybody gets.
Not the same percentage, whatever
They get
percentage.
a pro rata share.
Yes, a pro rata share. Yes, ma'am.
it's allocated in the return in the manner that it's
Right.
allocated. in the
Correct. The larger contributions will receive in the larger surplus.
Okay.
I
Well,
have a
thank you.
non-related question. Do the appraisal, does any executive of the appraisal district attend the city council meetings when they do the budget, like we did last week?
No, ma'am.
That was 606.
I'm sorry,
The budget last week,
yeah,
just an update on what the current budget?
yeah, all the appraisal district information,
No.
Do we go there?
yeah,
No, ma'am, we do not. Nor to the county.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
So we do submit to them the initial appraisal, and then at the end of the part of this period, we send the adjusted full appraisal.
Correct.
So,
Scott sends the certified totals right before, and then at the end, once we certify, sends them the other reports, the updated report.
I assume that's done through the city manager's office.
It's to several people within the finance department of all of the jurisdictions.
To cover all the bases.
We're required by the tax code to send out preliminary information before April the 30th. I usually tag that the first part of that week. It's usually the Monday before that. And then after we get all of the protests in after the deadline, then I will update them every week on where we are with regard to the values and how protest process is going. And then when we get to certification by July 25th, that's when the certified totals go out, and then it's monthly after that.
He's in constant communication with them because of course it's up with the board.
All right, anything else? Do we have a need for an executive session?
No, sir, we do not.
Maybe not. Very. All right, we will go on to the reports.
Yes, I will read from, under tab 1. You'll have 3 sets of financials, December, January, and February. I'm gonna read from your February financials. It's a fund investment report dated February 28, 2026. Total deposits of $12,868,753.68. Year-to-date interest earned is $23,217. We are over collateralized by $5,402,365.57. If you turn to page 7, you'll see at the end of February, we have a fund balance of $2,214,153. You turn to the following page, page 8, that's a statement of our designated reserve accounts, and there were no changes for the month of February. And that's all I have. Do you have any questions?
Okay, Grace Brown.
Yes, sir. The appraisal records report for this month is mainly a recap of April and going over some May events. In April, on April 10th, we mailed approximately 195,000 appraisal notices. There was an rendition deadline on April 15th. There was an exemption application deadline on April 30th, and the preliminary value estimates were sent on Monday, April 27th. In May, we produced our public notice of protest. We turned over the appraisal records to the Appraisal Review Board on Wednesday, the April 22nd. We do anticipate a second notice mailing on Friday, May 29th. It will be primarily for business personal property that had the later rendition deadline. And then our protest deadline is Friday, May 15th. Property protest trends year over year. So far, we are trending higher than the prior 2 years. So 2026 protests are currently trending higher. To date, as of today, we've received just over 81,000 protests. 84% of those protests are agent initiated, 16% owners. However, the value distribution, 93% of the protested value is in the agent's hands versus 7% in the owner's hands. Is how they're being filed. 82% of the protests are being filed online. Out of just owners alone, 69% of owners are filing online. And we will have more information at our June meeting after the protest deadline.
Okay, any questions, comments, Stephen? Yes, ma'am.
92% and 7% numbers.
It's just representation of who's protesting.
Uh-huh.
And so right now, out of the 81,000 protests that we've received, 84% of that number is represented by agents versus 16% of owners themselves representing themselves. And even the agents, they represent over 93% of the ballot. And so it's just and to give a perspective of who controls the protest volume.
Okay.
So typically, the agents are going to be protesting on behalf of higher value properties. And so that's why it's skewed.
Yeah, homeowners are the ones that'll seek them out to do the protesting on their behalf. So right now, out of what we have, 93% is coming in from those companies, if you will, those, fiduciaries, and only 7% are coming from actual homeowners dropping off their protests.
And of the 195, how many of those are commercial?
Out of the 195,000 notices that we sent out,
Yeah,
let me do some math.
Typically, historically, for the last several years, commercial protests are like 22,000, and that's been the average. So I wouldn't expect it to be any different, but
Residential properties represent about 85% of the notices that went out.
okay, so we're only looking at 15% of that commercial.
if you'd like, I can send the board like a breakdown, that way of what we have, what's the, again, with Scott's, data sets. It'll have the total number of accounts, and then you can break down by who's agent, who's property owners, the breakdown in value, the amount of protests.
I would like that.
Sure.
If you'll look at our chart, it's a little premature for some of this information, just because once you get to between May 11th and May 15th, that is when the bulk of the protests come in. And so we're still kind of early in it. We've got a lot of protests that come in close to the deadline.
Would it be appropriate to get an update at the next board meeting, or is that waiting too long?
That's what we usually do,
Yeah.
is we give the statistics
Good idea.
after the deadline, and that'll be at the next board meeting.
Yeah, that's fine. Good idea.
Perfect. And again, it'll have all the breakdowns. If there's anything specific that you want that's not on there, we can make it happen.
That sounds great.
So remind the board again, how many total protests we processed last calendar year?
Close to 190,000 when it was all said and done.
And right now we're sitting at 89 probably.
81,000.
81,000. So that gives you an idea of how big a rush comes in those last days.
And again,
Everybody procrastinates.
to put things in
April
perspective,
15th, tax deadline.
mhm, we sent out just over 400,000 appraisal notices last year. So out of those 400,000, we got 195. This year, we sent out 195,000 notices. So we'll see, and that's a very good point as far as seeing what the actual number is closer to June or at the next meeting.
Charge.
I'm sorry.
It varies.
It varies.
Some is a flat fee, some it's a percentage of what they save you in taxes. I don't know exactly for sure. I've never protested my property.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Never protested?
Yeah.
I can tell you, or to send you a notice.
Okay.
The cheapest one I've seen is $30 setup fee plus 20 of what you save.
All right.
Others do flat. You can get them as flat as $90. Yeah. And others go up to 500.
Mhm.
I mean, they're kind of tailored to the different segmentation within the market.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you have an $800,000 home, 20% of that's a lot more than their $300,000.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Jennifer.
Good afternoon, everyone. In your packet this month, we only have the detailed report of our community engagement events for the month of April. I'll bring our statistical information to you for April and May at our June meeting. Just to recap those details that you have in front of you, we attended 17 events. That was including the last 2 of our business personal property rendition sessions, our City of San Antonio workshops, and along with our standard meetings with Habitat for Humanity, and of course, local real estate industries, title companies, mortgage lenders, etc. Altogether, we got to visit with about 440 members of our community. We also have reached a wider audience as our chief appraiser participated in 2 radio interviews, one in Spanish on KLMO and one in English on KTSA. Our events are going to continue into May. We round out the bulk of our busy season this week. More City of San Antonio workshops, and Mr. Sandoval actually has 2 interviews this week alone, one with Telemundo and one with Texas Public Radio. With that, I wrap up my report unless anyone has questions.
I went to the St. Matthews event and I asked a bunch of people, how did you hear about this? And I mean, I would say like 80% of them said PD.
The City of San Antonio has a much larger marketing budget than we do, which is why we really appreciate being part of that process. No matter how many times we post on our social medias or we would have to purchase ad space in order to get the kind of numbers that they do. So it's really been a great partnership to be involved in these workshops. And our staff loves attending. Our staff really loves getting out and meeting with the public.
Was that the first of those kinds of events you've been to?
Yeah, it was the first one. And then I think somebody from the city said I might have been the first council member to attend.
This year, yes.
Yeah.
This year, yes. Mhm.
We have one tonight.
So your
It won't be
impression was, so I'm assuming your impression was favorable?
Oh, yeah, it was great. It was very well attended. There's really only 3 people from I said hi to everybody. Went row by row. There's only 3 people from my district. I asked a bunch, where do you live? You know, some of them knew, some of them didn't know. But yeah, when I asked where, you know, I do it by highway, I'm like, okay, that's District 7 or District, I mean, they were coming from everywhere. 3, 4, 7, you name it. So, but it was very well attended. How many people were there?
I went, typically this year, they've been averaging about 50 to 60 households, which translates to about 80 to 90 individuals.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
I know in the past, we've done some joint presentation with Mr. Reyes, he's not here today, but Roy and Mr. Reyes, they do joint presentations where they talk about both the appraisal and the tax, actual tax collection process at the same time. I've been to a couple of those 2 have been, well,
Yeah.
given that it's not the most scintillating topic available. Or at least not the most entertaining, I think I'm not saying it's
More popular.
All right, Mr. George.
Just waiting for the guy to my right to go first. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be quick. I believe you already got the read ahead. Next week, we have a 2 days of late hearings, followed by the following week after Memorial Day, we will start the season in earnest on the day right after Memorial Day. In the read ahead, I believe I provided copies of the PMP as required by tax code. There's no changes beyond editorial in itself. Also provided a breakdown of what the panel looks like, what the ARB looks like. That's close to what you and I discussed back in last year, Mr. Gannon. With some of the questions brought up last week, I thought it might be a good time to really slide that on in. Beyond that, I've got nothing else to present, sir.
So it's the calm before the storm.
It is. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that is the last item that I have on our agenda. Make a motion. We have a motion to adjourn from Mr. Conowitz. Second from Ms. Miller. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
So our next meeting, Roy, is June 8th at 6. Correct?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you.